Conditions at the Laura Cross Country and Biathlon Centre are steadily improving. We still have a little bit of snow coming our way, but visibility is quite good. The fresh snow on the ground, though, is causing the skiers a few issues. We've had some tumbles through the qualifying sessions of today's sprint, and it has been very exciting. We're down to the semi-final stage now. Slightly different format of races to explain to you, and it's going to be very exciting indeed. Swiss and Australian flags flying there. I don't know who the Aussie thinks he's going to be cheering on. There aren't any Australians in this, or Swiss for that matter. Not to worry. Semi-finals of the men's sprint sitting and women's sitting, they're first. Then the semis of the men's and women's standing categories, and then the vision impaired, then straight on to the finals of all six. So a hectic session coming our way, and it's going to be exciting. The athletes will be released rather than in an interval start. The athletes with the higher impairment will go first in a staggered start, and then they'll be followed by those in the sport class with a lesser impairment, and the first across the line is the winner. The snow is soft, there's plenty of it, well, I'm pleased to say. High humidity, and the wax technicians will have learnt plenty out of the qualifying. Did they have the right combination on the skis? Well, if they needed to make any adjustments, they've had the opportunity to do so. A little bit of a break between the qualifying and the semis, and it's the men's sitting sprint semis we've got. 2 semi-finals of 6 competitors each. So 12 races in the short term we've got for you, and then the 6 finals. Chris Kleebel, Ivan Goncharov, Roman Petushkov, Irek Zarapov, Daniel Nossen, Trygve Steiner Larsen of Norway. They're your 6 in the first semi for the men's sitting sprint. That's our friend Grigory Miryukin, the young Russian Federation skier. He's an exciting prospect. Not far away from a start, and I'm sure you'll get the hang of the new format once it gets underway. But Chris Kleebel, as an LW11 sport class, he will go first. 4 seconds later will go Goncharov, and then another 4 seconds back, the last 4 in this race were all LW12. So the higher impairment skier sets off first. The others follow, and it's first across the line that is assured of qualification. We've got 12 in the 2 semi-finals trying to get through to the final. Down the snow comes Roman Petushkov. He'll start 8 seconds behind Kleebel. So gradually, hopefully this is becoming clear to you what happens. Top 3 athletes from each heat qualify to the final. No lucky loser factor here. It's just you've got to finish in the first 3 in your semi. Trygve Steiner Larsen. He will be off at 8 seconds, along with Nossen, Zarapov and Petushkov. The athletes will know as they come up to the line when they're allowed to go. Small field of 6, it's easier for the officials to get this right. It's been got wrong in the past, believe me. It's happened at the highest level in Vancouver. Away we go, and Kleebel of Canada is on his way. 4 seconds later will go Ivan Goncharov. And Petushkov, Zarapov, Nossen and Larsen, and they're all on their way. So it's quite a chaotic scene. They don't often race head-to-head like this, except in the sprint. So it is exciting. Petushkov, no surprise to see him forging his way to the front. He's already got 3 gold medals in his kit. Kleebel, he'll have to race like his life depends on it. He knows that they'll be breathing down his neck shortly. And the Canadian still with a little bit of a gap. Patushkov has wasted no time getting past Goncharov. So 1, 2, 3 Russians in the field. Canadian, USA and Norwegian. And Larsen is a Norwegian. Oh, and he's got a broken stock. Who's that? That's Goncharov. That's very unlucky. Holds the hand up and the team is quick to get him a replacement, but that's not what Goncharov needed. So it's virtually a race in 5 now. And Patushkov works his way to the front. He's in the one bib. Zadapov, Irek Zadapov, right with him. In 9 is Daniel Nossen. And the LW12 sport classes are working their way through. In 12, Larsen at the rear of that 4. And unlucky Goncharov at the back. Wedged in there somewhere will be Kleebel trying to hold on to a top 3 spot. But around they come. It's pretty quick work from these sit skiers. Top 3 to go through, and Nossen in 3rd spot at the moment. Then Kleebel. And Trygve Larsen of Norway doesn't look like he's going to make it. So we've certainly got 2 different races going on here. Patushkov, Zadapov, and looks like Daniel Nossen are going to go through. Top 3 to progress to the final. And the Russian Federation have got plenty to cheer about here, as down to the line they come. Patushkov and Zadapov, 1 and 2. They're through to the final. And Daniel Nossen is also through. Larsen a few seconds down, then Kleebel and the luckless Goncharov, who had the broken stock. Hard to win from that kind of a setback. So Kleebel misses out. And you find yourself in a heat with Patushkov and Zadapov. Things are certainly going to have to go your way. So confirming for you that Roman Patushkov and Irek Zadapov of the Russian Federation progress, as does Daniel Nossen of the United States. Larsen, Kleebel and Goncharov, another day. Second of the semi-finals for the men's sitting. Maxim Yurovyi, Martin Flag, Grigory Murygin, Mikhailo Tkachenko, Evgeny Lukyanenko, and Andrew Sol. Martin Flag starting 16 seconds behind Maxim Yurovyi. So Yurovyi, the Ukrainian athlete, is in sport class LW10. Interval start races, he'll get an 86% factoring applied to his time. Tkachenko will go 20 seconds after Yurovyi, as will Murygin, Lukyanenko and Sol. There's Andrew Sol. Looks a picture of calm expectation. Just having confirmed to him by the officials when he's allowed to go. Everybody understands what the situation is. So Yurovyi will be out in his own for a good while, and we'll see if the others can catch him. First 3 to go through. Away goes Maxim Yurovyi. Flag has to wait 16 seconds. Yurovyi try and put as much distance between himself and the start as he can before the others make their beginning. Flag is on his way. 4-second gap, and then the next 4 all go at once, spread across the course. And 6th there is Tkachenko. Martin Flag. 4 men chasing him down, and out in front of them will be Maxim Yurovyi. Here he is. It won't be long before the others crest the hill. Here comes Flyg in 10. And the other 4 chasing him down like a pack of wolves. Rudigan, Tachenko, Lutyanenko and Sol. And Grigory Merugin, the Russian, in number 3 bib. He is quite something. And there he is. He's the first of the chasers, and he's already caught Flyg. So really bucketing down at the moment. Tough conditions. A little build-up of piles of snow has brought a few competitors undone. Flyg now back in the middle of the pack as Murigan in 3 goes past him and gets a little shout from the teammate with a stopwatch to let him know how he's going. How far behind Yurovyi perhaps. Well, now they can see him. They don't need the stopwatch anymore. He's in sight. Yurovyi gradually being hauled in by this outstanding young Russian athlete, Grigory Merugin. But Yurovyi making his way down towards the stadium. And 11 is Andrew Sol, so he's in 3rd position at the moment. So the top 3 to go ahead. Yurovyi into the home straight, and Yurovyi looks like he's going to make it. He set out first, and this time he's been able to hold off the field. Well, most of them, enough of them at least. I think he's got a top 3 finish in him. And the man closest to him, Grigory Merugin, he is certainly going to make it. And if Andrew Sol can hold on to his position, then he will too. Yurovyi mowed down in the last few metres by Merugin, who's making a point as he comes to the finish saying, I've got you. So it's Merugin, Yurovyi, and Andrew Sol just needs to stay switched on here over the closing metres, and he's made it. So the American is through. No luck for Lutyanenko. Tachenko in 5th, and Martin Flyg at the rear of the field. So there we go. It's quite short order. We've got our 6 finalists. But Merugin, he has got some power. So out of that second semi, we've got Merugin, Yurovyi and Sol moving through to the final to join Petushkov, Zarapov and Nosson. There we have it confirmed. Grigory Merugin, Maxim Yurovyi and Andrew Sol. Russia, Ukraine, USA. Good spread of nations. Great to see. That's exciting racing. First across the line. Some people prefer that to the interval format. I think they've both got their strengths, but there's something beautifully simple about first across the line is your winner. Francesca Porcellata will go first in the women's opening semi-final, 15 seconds ahead of McFadden and Valchok. And at 25 seconds will go Marthinsen, Yovleva and Kocherova. Francesca Porcellata with a sit-ski designed by Ferrari. That's got to go a bit faster, hasn't it? Maria Yovleva, certainly Francesca thinks it does. Ludmila Valchok from Belarus. And the 4 bib, Tatyana McFadden. And Ludmila Valchok will be going at 15 seconds along with McFadden, and then the 3, Marthinsen, Yovleva and Kocherova at 25 seconds. Marthinsen, the fastest qualifier. There's Porcellata. A bit's been made in the last 48 hours or so about the story about the design of her sit-ski, which she says is lighter and faster, and Porcellata is on her way. The flaming red head atop the prancing horse, they're saying about her. And this fancy new equipment she's got, and the veteran Italian's on her way. She's got a 15-second start on McFadden and Valchok, who are away now. McFadden on the right of the screen there in the 4 bib. In 9 is Valchok. Tatyana McFadden with this emotional reunion with her family this week in Sochi, a natural family, adopted family in the States. 1, 5 and 2, Marthinsen, Yovleva and Kocherova. Trying to chase down Porcelato, McFadden and Bouchok. Porcelato and Francesca's still moving along quite well in front, but they're closing in quickly. McFadden has already put a bit of a gap between herself and Bouchok. So Tatyana McFadden, who's been a very successful marathon wheelchair athlete, turning her attention to sprint events on the snow. Marthinsen has already eased ahead of Yavlova and Kocherova. Oh, and nearly a wipe out there from Kocherova. She's okay. Porcelato being encouraged along the track by the team coaches. It won't be long before she can hear the closing in skis of Tatyana McFadden. Good race this one as the snow continues to fall, heavier probably than 10 minutes ago. But they just have to deal with it. Bouchok of Belarus might be one of the ones in trouble here as they start to catch her. McFadden moves past Porcelato, so we've got a new leader in the American, Tatyana McFadden. In one is Marthinsen, and she's catching them both. She is the quickest in the field, just what the factoring start allows her to do, and it looks like as they come towards the finish area, that Marthinsen might be starting at the rear of the field and finishing first. She's got to get past McFadden first of all, though, and with Porcelato in third, and chasing that important third spot is Natalia Kocherova of the Russian Federation. That's where the race might be down the home straight. Porcelato could be struggling to hold her off. Kocherova in fourth as they come around the bend, but it's Marthinsen who's going along comfortably, and along with McFadden. These two are certainly going to qualify. McFadden putting in the big push. She's used to this at the end of exhausting races, and this has only been less than 3 minutes. But Marthinsen just putting in a little bit of an extra effort to let her know she won't have it all her own way come the final. But these two are through. Marthinsen and McFadden. And Kocherova has got there ahead of Yavlova, Bouchok and Porcelato, who just faded over the last 100 metres or so. And a stunning performance really from Mariann Marthinsen of Norway. She's really got some glide on those skis. McFadden closer to the grandstand, has a look across to the right, Marthinsen to her left, checking each other out. No words exchanged just yet. But there's been tremendous sportsmanship between the athletes, as we've mentioned. Marthinsen, McFadden and Kocherova are through to the final of the women's sprint sitting. Second of the women's semi-finals. Tatyana Sheets of Belarus, Andre Eskau of Germany, Birgit Skarstein of Norway, Oksana Masters of the United States, Marta Zainulina of the Russian Federation, and Alina Yakovska of Ukraine. So Tatyana Sheets will go first. 7 seconds later, it'll be Eskau and Skarstein. And on 17 seconds, Masters, Zainulina and Yakovska. Yakovska. Officials go to considerable trouble to make absolutely clear to the athletes when they can go, and they'll call out the times. Away we go, second of the semi-finals of the women's sprint sitting, and Belarusian Sheets is on her way. And then Eskau and Skarstein. Skarstein in 7, Eskau in 2. And away comes the rest of the field now. Masters, Zainulina and Yakovska. Masters in 3, Zainulina 6, Yakovska 11. Yakovska closest to the camera on this side. So doing her best to hold them at bay. Valenciana Sheets, but she's not going to be holding off Andrea Eskau for too long. The German who's had a really checkered games with 2 forced withdrawals mid-race with asthma and health problems. But she's also got a gold medal. Birgit Skarstein coming through. In 3, it's Oksana Masters. Then Zainulina and Yurkovska at the rear of the field at the moment. Just shuffling around this right hand, reverse camber turn. It's quite tricky. Yurkovska made up a few metres there, taking a better line and better balance. And through to the front comes the German veteran Andrea Eskau. Double gold medalist from the London Summer Paralympic Games in cycling. Eskau. A gold in her pocket here from the biathlon. Got something stuck in the middle of the course there. I'm sure the officials will attend to that. So we know that through already from the first semi, we've got McFadden, Marthinsen and Kocherova. And 3 to join them. Andrea Eskau making good progress around this 1 kilometre lap. Ooh, nearly a tumble there from Oksana Masters, who's settled into second place now. She left some 10 seconds behind Eskau. And these first 2 look assured of a place in the final. Eskau driving it on hard. She's a super fit woman, the German. And in 6 there is Zainulina moving across in front of Valenciana Sheep. So I think we can say already who our first 3 will be, because the rest are too far in the distance. Eskau looking good for a spot. So too Oksana Masters. Masters not making too much ground on Eskau, and she looks like she's trying to. Zainulina, Masters and Eskau driving it down to the line, looking good for a spot in the final. And it's just great to see Andrea Eskau seems to be over her health problems that forced her out of 2 events. Eskau, Masters and Zainulina all moving through. Valenciana Sheets of Belarus will be next across the line. And Yurkovska and Skarstein. No place in the final, unfortunately, for Alina Yurkovska. Eskau, once she got to the lead, was never going to let it go. She's one determined competitor. It's only a semi-final. Anything in the top 3 gets you through. And she only knows one way to go, and that's hard. So Eskau, Masters and Zainulina are our qualifiers for the second semi-final, going through with McFadden, Marthinsen and Kocherova from the first. No mucking around now. It's the men's sprint semi-finals, 2 of them. Azat Karachurin, Sergei Lapkin, Rushan Menegalov, Kirill Mikhailov. 4 Russians in this first one. One of them's going to miss out, at least. Grigory Vochinsky of Ukraine and Yoshihiro Nita of Japan also in the field. Now, Karachurin will go first. Menegalov, Mikhailov, Vochinsky and Nita all go at 23 seconds, as does Sergei Lapkin. So we've got 5 in the LW4 and 8 categories. Karachurin LW5/7. Kirill Mikhailov looks happy to be here. Got the good goggles on. Menegalov, got a glimpse of there, but it's Azat Karachurin, who will be away first. 9 is Voshinsky from Ukraine. It'll be quite exciting to have 5 go away together, 23 seconds after Karachurin. Everything in readiness. And away goes Karachurin. Then the next 5 all come up to the line just about together. See that Lapkin and Mikhailov is standing behind Lapkin at the start, so interesting whether they let them go in one line or actually going to separate them here. Away they go. Only a couple of metres between them, but it seems a little tough if you're all on the same start time. That you've got to stand behind the bloke in front of you who gets a 2-metre start, but that's the way it works. And Karachurin on his way. He's got a very smooth style. Skis obviously without the assistance of stocks, so the ascents are a little bit more demanding for him. He's got to make excellent use of the inside of the skis, and he does that, Karachurin. Man from the Russian Federation. You see that Yoshihiro Nitta has improved himself to 5th position. Top 3 to go through, of course. And Karachurin, this is where he really gets tested, this long ascent. The boys behind him starting to close in. He had a 23-second start. Lapkin in 1. Lapkin rapidly catches Karachurin and just keeps on going. No time for a chat there. 1, 2, 3, 4 Russians in the field, and 3 of them can make it, and it looks like 3 of them might, because Vovchinsky and Nitta not yet in the picture. Monogalov going through. A bit hard to pick them out in the distance, but we do know that Lapkin and Monogalov are going well, and Mikhailov. Someone's got the better wax on there. That's under a gliding downhill run. If you make up those sort of meters, it's rockets under your feet. It's Lapkin, then Monogalov, and Mikhailov. So no change there. It's still Russia 1, 2, 3. In 9 there's Vovchinsky just going past Karachurin, and unfortunately for Yoshihiro Nitta, I can't see a way for him into the top 3. He's too far back. And the Russians are going to sweep through here and get 3 of their 4 into the final of the men's standing sprint. Yoshihiro Nitta just finds himself off the pace somehow. Monogalov putting together a very good, impressive 1 kilometre. I don't know if he's using a different wax to Lapkin. He seems to be getting better run out of his skis, and I wonder if he'll exchange the information if that is the case. Or perhaps the team sent them out with different waxes to see how they both went. But on the glide, there wasn't much doubt that Monogalov had the running. Now, though, it's Lapkin stepping out to move past him, at least alongside him. And they look around to make sure that there's going to be no change to the status quo. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 Russia, Monogalov, Mikhailov and Lapkin. The order doesn't matter too much. Voshinsky is trying to close the gap, but the finish line is too close. Lapkin, Monogalov, Mikhailov. Vovchinsky wasn't far behind, just a few seconds, but it could have been a 1/10 of a second. It wouldn't have helped him. First 3 go through. And Karachurin and Nitta. That's the end of our first semi-final men's standing sprint. 3, go, through. Don't have a lot of time to recover. The final won't be far away. Lapkin, Menegilov and Mikhailov progressing out of this first semi-final of 6. The second semi will be with us in a minute or two. Pick up the equipment, head off. Lapkin was first up to the top of the hill. And we saw a pretty good acceleration from Menegilov, who then in the end was happy to settle for second, and Mikhailov third. Second of the men's semis in the standing sprints. Alexander Pronkov, Vladimir Kononov, Vladislav Lekentsov, all from Russia. There's the Frenchman Benjamin Davier as well, and Ilkka Tuomisto and Ihor Repchuk of Finland and Ukraine. Pronkov and Kononov will go first at 11 seconds. Davier. And Lekontsev on 21, Tuomisto and Repchuk on 23. So we're underway. Pronkov and Kononov setting off. And then Davier, the Frenchman, who's able to use 2 stocks. Lekontsev, Tuomisto and Repchuk. 2 seconds between Lekontsev and the last two, Tuomisto and Repchuk. So let's just see how the factoring works out here in this second semi-final of the men's 1K sprints. Pronkov and Kononov, nothing between them as there was at the start. They both went at 0. Little Russian team out the front, if you like. And then Benjamin Davier, the sole Frenchman, trying to make an impression on them. Anywhere in the top 3 though will suit him. And he's through to the final he's hoping to go. Mikhailov, Menegilov and Lapkin, all from the Russian Federation, have made it through from the first semi. And these 3 have really cleared out. Pronkov, Kononov and Davier. And the chasers, Lekontsev, Tuomisto and Repchuk, have still got a lot to do. However, they might make some progress up this hill. Pronkov and Kononov, step for step in front. Really attacking the hill is Vladislav Lekontsev. This is his moment. He's decided to have a go. Davier hasn't quite caught the Russian pair out front. Pronkov and Kononov got themselves out of step. Now they're back in. In 2 is Pronkov, 7 is Kononov. And they've made good progress up the hill, but the chasers aren't far away. Davier, his ability to close in was just stalled a little on that hill. Now they'll get their breath back as they make their way down towards the stadium. Pronkov and Kononov still got some gap between them and Davier. And the chasers are closing fast. Vladislav Lekontsev, the closest of them. Pronkov, Kononov, Davier, Lekontsev. It's going to be Tuomisto and Repchuk, who may not have much of a chance at this stage, I would say. Lekontsev has now caught Davier, so he moves into 3rd spot. And it's just his Russian teammates in front, so he won't want to upset them too much and try and get them across the line ahead of the Frenchman. So Davier has got to find something, the Frenchman, sitting in 4th spot. But Pronkov and Kononov out front, as they've been since the start, don't look like they're about to surrender anything too easily. Lekontsev just measuring up his next move. Might make it down this hill or in the home straight perhaps, if he wants to make one. He's just got to make sure Davier stays where he is in 4th spot. The Frenchman sizing up the opposition here, but it's from a distance. 1, 2, 3 Russia, and the crowd starting to have some say in this one. This has been a mighty kilometre from Alexander Pronkov and Vladimir Kononov. Lekomtsev has moved past them now, and he'll hit the line first, we imagine. It's just whether Davier has got anything left down the home straight to catch Pronkov and Kononov. Oh, there's been a fall. Oh, one of the Russians is out, and that's the opportunity that Davier needed. That's terribly bad luck for Pronkov, I think it was. Davier's there now. Lekomtsev. So Lekomtsev, Kononov, Pronkov, then Davier. No. The next event is up and going already, which is caught us a little bit by surprise. I've let it go before the men's event was finished. Not quite get why they felt the need to do that. And we've got Kononova, Alexander Kononova, leading them through. Back to the qualifiers from the men's 1K sprint, I believe was Kononov, Pronkov, Lekomtsev. Anyway, we'll focus our attention on the women's event here. We've got Bratyuk following Kononova through. In 5 there is Yarvala, 4 is Lyashenko. Also in the race, Brittany Hudak of Canada. Rear of the field at the moment. Kononova and Bratyuk. Then Lyashenko, then Yarvala. Abe of Japan led them out, but only with a 3-second margin, and the other 5 all went at 3 seconds. Continuing to fall here at Lauda, as it has done for most of the day. 2 women's semis in the 1K sprint for the standing category. And Kononova and Bratyuk, side by side they come. Whoops, careful you don't knock each other over. And Bratyuk just closed right up on Kononova, who wasn't too pleased to have her that close, I think. And allow her at least some racing room. Through comes Lyashenko, and then Yarvala. Hudak and Abe will be towards the rear of the field, so only 3 to go through again. Doesn't look good for the Canadian and the Japanese competitors. Kononova and Bratyuk. And Bratyuk caught Kononova and then just kind of settled into that second position, not able to get past her. Actually started off at the same time. Kononova got a bit of a lead. Bratyuk closed it up again. Might be happy just to settle in there. Knows it's a fair distance back to 3rd and then 4th. 4th is Lyashenko, and I don't think Yarvala can catch her. So we've got our top 3 pretty much decided here. Kononova, Bratyuk, and Lyashenko. Pace will be on in the second semi, where we've got Patenkova, Elena, Kaufman. Look the favourites to go through, but anything can happen. So Kononova and Bratchuk coming down to the line. Not too much doubt about them going through to the final of the women's 1K sprint standing. And Bratchuk just making a little bit of a statement over the last 50 metres to Kononova. A 16-year-old, cheeky. Gets Kononova there. Jarvela. There's a bit of a charge made by Lyashenko. And Jarvela has done well. Then we've got Abe and Hudak coming down together. The finish order isn't of too much consequence. It's Abe and Hudak though. That's 0.2 between them. Bratchuk, Kononova and Jarvela coming through the first of the women's semi-finals. Another 6 competitors in the second semi coming up shortly. Yulia Batenkova, Moko Dekajima, Anna Karin Olsen, Milena Kaufman and Ota. And 3 of them go at 0 and 3 go at 3 seconds. Milena Kaufman and Ota chasing down Batenkova, Dekajima and Olsen. 2 from Russia, 2 from Japan, Norway and Ukraine. 11 is Olsen, 10 Dekajima. I'm surprised if Batenkova doesn't get through, even though she's got 3 on the LWA sport class behind her and only 3 seconds behind her. Norwegian team here to give support to Anna-Karin Olsen, Anna Milena, Alina Kaufman and Shoko Ota. They're the 3 who went at 3 seconds. And at the moment it's Milena at the rear of the field. Could be a very good finish if they just continue to Constantina, but not too quickly. We've got Yulia Batenkova out the front. And athletes got plenty of chases there. And 7 is Ota, Shoko Ota. And Norway's Anna-Karin Olsen. It's on the red uniform, but with the blue cross on the left leg there. And the Russian competitors skiing close together, Milena and Kaufman. Here's Alina Kaufman in the red headband, sitting in 3rd behind Ota. Kaufman, very accomplished biathlete. A couple of good victories already in these Paralympic Winter Games, and still the snow falls. It's wet snow, at least it's not rain. Batenkova holding them at bay for the moment. Shoko Ota steady up the hill. Kaufman and Milena together. Milena making a bit of a move here, and it could be only one of the Russians will get through if they can't catch Ota and Batenkova. Batenkova is doing an outstanding job holding them at bay. She's LW6 and the 3 LW8 athletes struggling to catch her. Not much between them in terms of the assessment of their impairment. But Batenkova decided this is a race she feels she can do well in, and she's giving it everything. The right wax underneath as well. Now Oates under some pressure from both Milena and Kaufman. If they could both get past her, then they're both in the final, and it looks like they will. Ota has just stalled a little. She was making very good progress up the hill, but perhaps it took plenty out of her. And the Ukraine supporters will be cheering home Batenkova as soon as she comes into sight. Patenkova. The lead has shrunk a little. Shoko Ota trying to keep at bay Malanina and Kaufman, but they've got her in their sights. Now Malanina steps out beside Ota. Kaufman just 5 metres behind. This is going to be a very interesting finish for second, third and fourth. Only the top three go through. Patenkova, if she's got enough left, should be able to make it. She's our leader at the moment, Yulia Patenkova of Ukraine. Round this sweeping big right-hander she comes, and then into the home straight. Then it's Malanina, then it's Ota, then it's Kaufman. 3 out of these 4 will make it. I think we can write Patenkova into the final, but only 2 out of the next 3 will. Ota in the red uniform, the number 7 for Japan. And under pressure from both the Russians, Malanina and Kaufman, they'll be urging each other on, listening to the cheers of the crowd and responding to it. Ota and Kaufman, this is a great race for third, and Kaufman has found something. Elena Kaufman has got there. Oh, and by a 1/10 of a second she's beaten Ota. What a race for third. The crucial third position has gone to Elena Kaufman behind Anna Malanina and Yulia Patenkova. Super race. Olsen comes in after Dekajima. And Patenkova through to the final. That's the start there with Olsen, Dekajima and Patenkova setting off together, and Patenkova carving her way around the course, very impressively so. So Yulia Patenkova and Anna Malanina and Elena Kaufman of Russia joining the Ukrainian in the final, and Ota just missing out by such a narrow margin, 0.1. Komtsev, Kononov and Pronkov confirming that they're through in the second semi-final of the men's sprint standing. Visually impaired semi-finals now for the men's sprint. 2 semi-finals of 4. Choklev, Makiva, Dulkov and Adakov to go in this first semi, and we're underway. Choklev with his guide Maxim Pirogov has got a 32-second start on the other 3. So Choklev's got to make the most of this half minute. Top 2 athletes from each semi-final go to the final, and now the other 3 go. Makiva, the great Canadian, Adultkov of Russia and Adakov of the United States. So we would expect Makiva in that largely white uniform to be able to pull away from the other 2, and he is doing that. Adultkov and Adakov. And only the top 2 go, so Choklev, who's way out in front courtesy of his 32-second start, and Makiva, you can almost draw a line through this one quite early and say, unless Choklev can be caught by the field, here he is. Stanislav Choklev. Dubkov and Adakov doing their best to hold on to pace being set by McKeever and his guy, Graham Ishikawa. McKeever would have trouble finding a guide who can ski as quickly as he can. You might recall 4 years ago there was quite a drama around the Canadian cross-country skiing team at the Olympics where they were giving serious consideration to including McKeever. In the end they didn't. He's not getting a toe here, Chokleev, just making sure he doesn't lose track of the guide at pace downhill. Yes, McKeever was left out of that Olympic cross-country relay team. People felt he should have been in it. McKeever, although he concedes that the right decision was probably made, he still thinks about it and wonders what might have been. Chokleev still with some kind of a lead here. And it's still a decent one. McKeever has taken something out of it. And then it's Dubkov and Adakov. He's not going to make it from there, Jacob Adakov. 4 in the semi-final, 2 to go through. McKeever still being kept honest though by Dubkov. He's only some 5 or 7 metres behind him. Guide for Stanislav Chokleev, Maxim Pitagov just peering over his shoulder, seeing how close the opposition are, and they are closing in now. Chokleev, then McKeever, then Dubkov with their guide, so 2 of these combinations to advance. McKeever now quickly closing in on Chokleev just to take any doubt out of it whatsoever. The guy just coming across to the side nearest the grandstand to allow plenty of room for McKeever to move past Adulkov. Past Chokleev, and Adulkov, he knows he's really got to put in the hard yards here, and Adulkov closing in and moving past Chokleev. So McKeever and Adulkov it'll be. I didn't think Chokleev could be caught, but he has been. Adulkov relegates Chokleev. McKeever wins it. 1.2 seconds to Adulkov. And Chokleev very close to third, but he's just run down in the last 20 metres. And now coming in Jacob Adakov and Reed Fletcher, his guide. 20 seconds off the pace. It was a good race. Away they go, away they went. And Dubkov just there ahead of Chokleev. Ishikawa, great guide that he is for Brian McKeever. Ruslan Bogachev did an excellent job also getting Vladimir Dubkov across the line just in front of Chokleev. Second of the semi-finals for the men's visually impaired then. Alexander Artemov, Ilya Cheraptonov is his guide. Moden and Artemov will go at 0 in the B1 sport class. Shulga goes at 28 seconds and Ponomarev at 32. There we go then, Sebastian Moden and Alexander Artemov start the journey around his 1 kilometre course. The impressive thing about Sebastian Moden, the Swedish competitor, is that he's got endurance and sprint capability. Dmytro Shulga of Ukraine, Oleg Ponomarev of Russia. So Russian Federation with 2 in this. Now, if this ends up as close as the first of the semi-finals, we're in for a very pleasurable race here. Not so much pleasure for the athletes in the last couple of 100 metres when they're really hurting. And for spectators, for that matter, standing up to this sort of a wet, snowy, icy day that we've got at Laura. Weather taking a turn for the worse during these Paralympic Winter Games at Sochi and Laura and Rosakuta. Up the hill goes Sebastian Moden. He's got a heavy program of competition, Moden, and events here at Laura. It'll be a real test of his fitness and make sure he doesn't get any little injuries. Moden going along nicely though, ahead of Artemov, Shulga and Ponomarev. Ponomarev starting at the rear of the field. Has still got Shulga to deal with and goes past him now. A real sprint up the last little section of this hill. A genuine effort being made there by Ponomarev. Decided that was his moment. Moden, Artemov, Ponomarev and Shulga. Either of the Russian combinations make it through. Udalkov qualified from the first of the semi-finals. Moden Albin Akarok is his guide. Ponomarev has got to make another move shortly, and he's got to do it on Artemov, and he's just sort of pacing himself, we felt there. He's gathering himself for the next effort. He passed Shulga on a hill. Artemov is his next target if he's going to get into the first 2. And here it comes. He was just foxing, not so much foxing as just preparing for the surge. And into second place now goes Ponomarev. And I think the story has been told, really. The Swede Sebastian Moden, he's been comfortable out front for all of the race so far. Ponomarev just took his time for passing his Russian teammate Artemov, and Shulga, the Ukrainian, is at the back of the 4 now. Moden coming around into the home straight. All he needs to do is keep his feet and he'll be right. Mind you, that's easier said than done, as these little piles of soft snow have been building up in all sorts of inconvenient places that have tripped up a few athletes today. But it is Moden coming down to the line very comfortably. Good skiing style, skating left and right. Not bothered really by the course conditions. And over he comes in 4:11.6. Just outside Makiva's time. And then it is Ponomarev who judged his race nicely. And Shulga and Artemov. 4:11.6 from Moden, 4:09.5 Makiva. I think Moden has got what it takes to run with Makiva and Udalkov. So it's time from Ponomarev, unless he's got more to give. 4:16 would find him out of the medals in the final, but that's a little way off yet. So Sebastian Moden, guide Albin Akarok, Oleg Ponomarev, and Andrei Romanov, they are through. No such luck for Shulga and Artemov. Women's sprint, visually impaired, 2 semi-finals, just 3 in each. top 2 to go through, so we're only losing 1 out of each heat here. Michaela Lisova, look, she'd have to have an accident not to qualify. She is the quality athlete in this field. In this first semi-final, Lisova, Shishkova and Weldon will all go at the same time. They're all in the B2 sport class. Lada Nesterenko, the guide for Shishkova. Robbie Weldon with Phil Wood. Guides are ready. A little bit chaotic at the start here. All going at the same time, but the athletes well used to the voices of their particular guide. And we're underway. First of the women's 1K sprint visually impaired semi-finals. Michaela Lisova, Oksana Shishkova, Robbie Weldon. Russia, Ukraine and Canada. And the general expectation is that Lisova will do what she has to do and go through. And already in the opening 100 metres or so, Weldon just drifting off the back here. So Lisova and Shishkova, if this trend continues, and it's early days yet in this 1 kilometre event, and they won't spend any more petrol than they have to as long as they both beat Weldon. Interesting sort of eavesdropping on the instructions coming from Phil Wood to Weldon. Great teamwork to watch. Lisova, as expected, has moved to the front of Shishkova. Weldon's guide Phil Wood, you can see what's required in front of him. But that distance is just growing by the second. Lisova, she's picked up gold medals already in 2 biathlon events and a silver in a cross country. She's very versatile, not only in the biathlon and cross country, moving between disciplines, but also between distances. So silver medal in the 15K, and she will be in the final of the sprint as the snow, if anything, gets a little heavier. A couple of falls like this about a month ago, I think, during the Olympics would have helped out a little, but you've got no control over these things, and I'm full of admiration of the way the athletes just got on with it, and not too many were bothering to complain about conditions. I mean, what is the point? Everyone in your event, your race, has to deal with what you deal with, and you just come across as a whinger if you start complaining and nobody else does, and you're all dealing with the same issue. Michaela Lisova. Good rehearsal for the final for her. If they could nearly have put 6 in the final, but it might have been too many with consideration given to the presence of the guides as well. So that would have been 12 people in the events, including the guides. So we're trimming 6 down to 4. And 5 of the 6 in these 2 semi-finals are in the B2 sport class. Just had Vivian Hirsch of Germany, who was the B1. Not easy for the guides to be talking and skiing, particularly over the harder sections of the course, but that's the job of Phil Waters. He guides Weldon around the 1 kilometre track here at Lauda. And 4 there, it's Shishkova, Oksana Shishkova, her guide Lada Nesterenko, and it's Alexei Ivanov for Lisova. And this team, as I like to call them, are well out in front, just doing what's needed, trying to preserve as much energy as is convenient and possible for the final. Lisova just coasting around this last bend and into the straight. And because she's from the Russian Federation, they'll be finding their voice in a moment, the crowd. She tackles the last 130 metres or so down to the finish line. She's quite a figure in Russian Federation sport, Nikolina Lisova. 4 years ago in Vancouver, she won medals, still in the teens, now in her early 20s, and she's already got 2 gold and a silver, and she's going to be through to the final of the women's visually impaired 1K sprints. 4:50 the time. 4:57.7 for Shishkova, and Robbie Weldon not that far behind, but this was always likely to be the case. Lisova and Shishkova going through. 5:10.3 for Robbie Weldon, 20 seconds behind Lisova. Strides off, looks like she'd barely blow out a candle. She is one fit young lady. So Nikolina Lisova and Oksana Shishkova move calmly, if not effortlessly, through to the final. That would be an exaggeration. Vivian Hirsch, guide Norman Schlee, Yulia Budalieva, and Tatyana Natalia Yakimova, I beg your pardon, the guide for Elena Remizova. And Hirsch goes first, she being in the B1 sport class. B2 for Budalieva and Remizova. They'll be 33 seconds behind Hirsch, and I'm thinking that won't be enough to stop Remizova and Budalieva catching her. And I'm more than happy to be proved wrong if Hirsch and away they go. As Hirsch is going to have to really ski well to turn that 33-second margin into a top 2 finish. Budalieva and Remizova, both from the Russian Federation, though should ski as some kind of a team here to get themselves both past Hirsch and into the final. Then you could have 3 out of the 4 finalists from the Russian Federation. I'm not sure that our time posted by Nikolina Lisova is going to be much guide to what we'll see in the final, because Lisova wasn't pushing it at all. Vivian Hirsch, just as steady progress up this incline. We've got to work hard. See that Budalieva and Remizova have already taken a fair bit out of the 33-second start that Hirsch had. And up they come. Almost all 4 of the chasers in step, not quite. Budalieva in the 2 bib and Remizova in 3. And Remizova moves past Hirsch. And likewise Budalieva. So there we go. It's happened quite early in the kilometre. Hirsch. I suppose not quite in the class of these two, Budalieva and Ramizova, who are both medal winners already in these Paralympic Winter Games in the visually impaired class. So short of some kind of misfortune, we will indeed have 3 Russian athletes in the 4-woman final of the visually impaired women's sprint. Takes some skill and courage, visually impaired athletes, to come down at this sort of pace. There's only a small amount of vision that the B2 sport class had, and of course even less the B1. That's why we hold these athletes in such admiration. Hirsch. Talking and exercising with some effort. It's not easy. I think Norman Schlee, the guide's doing a terrific job with Hirsch. Still think we have to regard Lisova as the event favourite here. No matter what time Budalieva and Ramizova come in with, whether it's under or over 4 minutes 50. Lisova is a lot stronger than she looks. A slightly built athlete, Tatyana Lisova. And she's got tremendous endurance and deceptive amount of power. So Budalieva and Ramizova just doing what they have to do. About 200 metres left to ski as they come around the turn and into the straight. Another encouraging sight for the Russian fans who've been good enough to come to Laura in these fairly indifferent conditions today. They'll cheer the Russians home 1-2, and they'll also applaud the effort of Vivian Hirsch today, who's made it through to the semi-finals, but that's where it will stop for the German cross-country skier, because Budalieva and Ramizova coming down to the line. Well, they're well outside the 4 minutes 50 set by Lisova, but I'm sure, as you can tell, there's only about a three-quarter effort being put into this last stretch of the race. They're saving it for the final, and Ramizova and Budalieva will both be there. Congratulations nonetheless, though, to Vivian Hirsch as she comes across the line. 5 minutes 54 for the German cross-country skier. But that's it for the sprint for her. There's another race to come, though, for both Budalieva and Ramizova. So they started. Elena Ramizova and Yulia Budalieva. They caught Hirsch on the climb and just kept going. We've got 6 finals to come now, and all the semis are done. There's the result confirming for you that Elena Ramizova and Yulia Budalieva with their guides are through to the visually impaired final for the 1K sprint. It won't be long before we're getting our athletes ready for the first of our finals. It'll be the men's 1K sprint sitting. And 3 Russian, 2 USA and 1 Ukrainian athlete in this first final. Irek, go Irek. Irek is Zarapov. Irek Zarapov is in this first final. But unfortunately, from Sweden's point of view, no one in this one. And also, he had Helene Rieper missing out in hers. But here's the final. Roman Petushkov, Irek Zarapov, Daniel Nossen, Grigory Murigan, Maxim Yarovyi, Andrew Sol. Can the Americans get on the podium? I'm just not sure. Yarovyi starts at 0 and the rest all at 20 seconds. Mariann Marthinsen, Tatyana McFadden, Natalia Kocherova, Andrea Eskau. Good spread of nations here. Norway, USA, Russia, Germany, Oksana Masters and Marta Zainulina. USA and Russia. Through to the final of the men's sprint. Lapkin, Maniligov, Mikhailov, Lekontsev, Vladimir Kononov. Oh, it's an all Russian final. Pronkov, I hadn't realised that before now. 6 out of 6. I think they're going to sweep the medals in that one. Women's sprint finds the 16-year-old Natalia Bratchuk through with Alexandra Kononova, Maya Yavala, Yulia Batenkova, Anna Milanina, Alina Kaufman. The Russians stand to pick up quite a medal haul today in these cross-country sprints. 6 finals. Brian Makiva, Vladimir Udoltkov, Sebastian Moden, Oleg Ponomarev. That'll be a very good final, the men's visually impaired. See if Makiva can add to his tally of Paralympic gold medals. And there's also the women's final of 4. Lisova, Shishkova, Ramizova, Fudalieva. Shishkova will be trying to split the Russians on the podium somehow. It's Lisova's race to win or lose, I would think. So not far away from the first of our finals, just making sure everything's in order and all the timing is correct and the athletes are in place and the course. Just doing a bit of last-minute grooming. You can see there off to the right. Got a great team of course maintenance men and women working to put it in the best condition and safest condition possible. And then the skiers down the home straight there, you see them, they also go out and do their bit to just ski across it as much as anything and look for any trouble spots and basically ski it into the best condition possible. The snow being blown across the arena. Patient crowd looking forward now to 6 quick finals. It's 1 kilometre. It's a kind of a mass start, but allowing for the sport classes to be factored in. In this first final, the men's 1K sprint sitting, Yarovyi will have a 20-second start over the other 5. Petushkov, Murigan, Zarapov, Nossen and Sol. Well, dancing in the stand is one way to keep warm. Folks from this part of the world are more than used to this kind of weather. It's not that cold, it's just the wet snow you have to deal with. Maxim Yurovyi of Ukraine goes on 0, and then 20 seconds later the rest of the field in this sprint final. Petushkov, Murigan, Zadapov, Nossen and Sol all try to catch Yurovyi. After a long day of qualifying and semi-finals, we've got our first final. The men's 1K sprint. Sitting. Zadapov trying to stay as dry and warm as possible until the crucial moment. They've already raced around the course twice to get to this point. Andrew Sol looks like he's just out for an afternoon ski, but there's lots at stake here. Daniel Nossen looking just that little bit more intense, keeping the arms and shoulders nice and loose. Here's the man to beat though, perhaps, Roman Petushkov. And also Grigori Murigan, this outstanding young man, 19 years of age. Almost ready for a start. Athletes are being held in the right position. They all know what the story is, who goes when. Little one with a great spot up there. Start of the men's 1K sprint sitting final, and Maxim Yurovyi has got to make the most of his 20-second start over Petushkov, Murigan, Zadapov, Nossen and Sol. How far can he get? Can he hold them off? The other 5 all to go at once. Irek Zadapov with his support crew here, and away they go. And it's Petushkov and Murigan who are tipped to be able to close in on Yurovyi first, if at all. And Petushkov has really sprinted away. Zadapov there under the bridge, and on his way goes Yurovyi. And here is the chasing bunch. At the front of them is Petushkov. Then it's Zadapov. Then Murigan, Sol and Nossen. Sol in 11, Nossen in 9, the 2 Americans at the back of the field, and if they can disrupt the dominance of the Russians ahead of them, it'll be a bit of a surprise, because Murigan, Petushkov and Zadapov so quick. And then there's the other question, can they catch Yurovyi? So they're out of the stadium and out of view, but on the big screen they can see what's going on, and Maxim Yurovyi is doing his best, but here comes Petushkov. He's just driving on, this all-powerful, super confident man. He's just collecting gold medal after gold medal in every event he goes in, and he's looming up behind Yurovyi as they come around towards the start-finish area. So Petushkov driving it on. Murigan and Zadapov too far behind, I think. Just a little look over the shoulder from Petushkov as he carefully negotiates this right-hander, just wipes off a little bit of speed to make sure he's not too quick there. Now he's got his eyes on the finish line. Petushkov and Yurovyi. Yurovyi will try and hold on to a podium place here, but it's Murigan and Zadapov closing in on him. No one can stop Petushkov though. Roman Petushkov. The Russian crowd thrilled by his performances. Here's another gold medal winning one. Roman Petushkov coming down to the line. Yurovyi getting swallowed up by the followers, Murigan and Zadapov. Petushkov has done it again. Murigan and then Yurovyi. Then Zadapov. So it's a Russia 1-2. Petushkov and Murdigan, Yarovyi third, then Zadapov, Sol and Nossen. How good is he? Zadapov and Murdigan just could not match the pace of Petushkov, who set out like he really meant to claim this race, and he's done it. He caught Yarovyi before the home straight and then just powered on. And he loves this moment. Pretty happy too was Murdigan. So Murdigan in second place behind Petushkov, Yarovyi third. And so Petushkov adds another goal to his building tally. Murdigan adds to his reputation as a 19-year-old star of the present and future. Well, that's a great first final to get us underway, and plenty to come. Well, the crowd's been kept in good spirits, if not by the weather, then certainly by the performances of the athletes. We've had some exciting qualifying semis, and now the first of our finals, and it's just rolling on. The next will be the women's 1K sprint sitting final. Look at the form. Oop, there was a bit of a slip there from Nossen at the start. Yarovyi, the start that he had of 20 seconds. It's pretty well judged by the factoring system, but you can't factor out Petushkov. The chasing group with Murdigan and Zadapov trying to run down Yarovyi. Petushkov out in front, of course, and Yarovyi did manage to hold on to a spot on the podium where he'll be joined by Murdigan. Tatyana McFadden has got some support here. Great story around her natural mother, who Tatyana has paid for to come down and meet up with her and to watch her. A very emotional reunion for them. It's not on her mind right now. Maybe just a little bit. Women's cross country sprint final, 1K, 6 in it. Andrea Eskau and Tatyana McFadden will go on 0, and 10 seconds later the rest. Mariann Marthinsen has to be the favourite here. Oksana Masters, Marta Zainulina and Natalia Kocherova. I don't think they can go with Marthinsen. Eskau, providing she's 100% healthy, she's had some asthma issues this week, could be difficult to catch. There is an impressive Tatyana McFadden, who's had brilliant success in wheelchair racing, particularly over marathon distances. Andrea Eskau won the 6K biathlon and pulled out of the next 2 races. We're not quite sure what to expect, but she's got through her qualifying and semi. Marta Zainulina. Marthinsen, 29 years of age, from Bergen in Norway. Tatyana. She's springing upset perhaps, but I think it's Martinsen's race on the form we've seen through the qualifying and semis. Oksana Masters been a little erratic with the rifle and biathlon event. She's got nothing to focus on here but going as fast as she possibly can, and she can be quick. I think we'll get an idea fairly early whether Marthinsen has got Masters, Zainulina and Kacherova covered, because they're all going at 10 seconds. Then it will be, can they catch Eskau and McFadden? And my guess is yes in Martinsen's case. But Eskau, here she is. She's a feisty competitor and a very experienced one, and a gold medalist, Eskau, at Summer Paralympic Games in London in cycling. Eskau and McFadden to go first. And then it'll be a racing four between Martinsen, Masters, Zainulina and Kacherova. Away goes Eskau and McFadden. Eskau digs in early, pushes as hard as she can. And McFadden also. And now it's Martinsen, Masters, Zainulina and Kacherova. They've given up a 10-second start to Eskau and McFadden. Eskau across the rise first, and McFadden right in the tracks, only a metre behind. Could be looking to draft the German whenever it's possible, if it is possible in these kinds of conditions, as the snow continues to fall at Lauda. McFadden just using that left pole to shuffle safely around the bend. Marthinsen in one, and three in her outside Masters, who looked a little unsteady in this turn. And they're all around okay. And Oksana Masters just moved the front of Marthinsen there. So Summer Masters is here to compete and ski right on the edge if she has to, as she was around that turn. In front, it's McFadden ahead of Eskau. Very interesting. Eskau has been passed by Tatyana McFadden, and the others are starting to close in, particularly Masters in 3 and Marthinsen in 1. Tatyana McFadden leads them in the 1K sprint sitting final. The snow really being thrown down now, and this is a tight race. McFadden, and it's Oksana Masters who's moved past Eskau and now starting to challenge McFadden. So the two Americans almost side by side, and all 6 with still a chance of winning this one. Tatyana McFadden under pressure now as Masters and Marthinsen close in. Now Mariann Marthinsen, the Norwegian, has got a withering finish, and she'll need it here. She's got a couple to still get past. Eskau is there again. The German hasn't given up on this one either, so the front 4 have got a little bit of a break on the back too. But who's it to be? Can Marthinsen produce one of her classic finishes? She's there in 1. In 4 is McFadden. McFadden still trying to hold him off. Here comes Marthinsen down the inside, closest to the fans. McFadden trying to hold her off. In 3, it's Masters on this side, but it's going to be McFadden and Marthinsen. Marthinsen driving the shoulders into the poles into the snow, and here comes Marthinsen past McFadden. What a great finish, stroke for stroke. Oh, I think Marthinsen got there by 0.1 from McFadden. Then Eskau, Zainulina. What a finish. Marthinsen had to draw on absolutely everything. What a finish. And the joy of completing the race, and the rivalry and the friendship all there. And great to see. But Marthinsen had to dig deep to beat McFadden. And Eskau gets the congratulations of Marthinsen and vice versa. Super race. the best finishes we'll hope to see, I think, at these Paralympic Winter Games. Marthinsen. Let's have another look at this sensational finish with Marthinsen just edging again ahead by centimetres only. And staggering across the line was Zainulina, fell at the last. Well, what a finish. Marthinsen, McFadden, Escow, 1, 2, 3, confirming that the margin was 0.1 of a second between Marthinsen and McFadden, and 0.9 back to Escow. And then Zainulina, Masters, and Kocherova. So the Masters just not able to quite finish it as she started it. Certainly gave it everything, gave herself a chance by throwing the challenge down early. More grooming of the course going on. Try and make it as fast and safe and skiable as possible. Trying to pack down this wet additional snow we've had over the last 18 hours or so. How good was this race? The women's 1K sprint sitting. Escow and McFadden, and then Marthinsen and McFadden. And McFadden, initially, I'm sure, disappointed, but then sharing in the camaraderie of competition and participation with Marthinsen, who was just that little bit better. Next final we'll have for you is the men's 1K sprint standing. Oh my goodness, if it's like that women's sitting final, bring it on. What a delight to watch. Vladimir Kononov and Alexander Pronkov will go on 0. 21 seconds later, Vladislav Lekontsev, then Lapkin, Menegalov and Mikhailov all at 23. Not much between Lapkin and Menegalov in their semi-finals. 6 athletes from the Russian Federation in the field. I don't know who the fans will feel they should cheer for. I'll cheer for them all. We're going to get a result. The athletes being introduced to the crowd. Sergei Lapkin, very quick over these short distances, bit of a sprint specialist. Vladimir Kononov will go first, alongside Pronkov. And Menegalov in the 4 bib, and Kirill Mikhailov in 5. tough one to pick this. Kononov and Pronkov, who ski without stocks, but do it very efficiently. They have a 21-second start over Lekomtsev. Kononov in 7, Pronkov in 2, and away they go. This is the men's 1K sprint standing final, and it's an all-Russian affair. Kononov and Pronkov. And it's Pronkov who wants to lead early. And at 21 seconds, it's Lekomtsov, then Lapkin, Menegalov and Mikhailov all straight after him 2 seconds later. So here we are, we've got everyone underway in the men's 1K sprint final. And whatever happens here, it's going to be Russia 1, 2, 3. But, at a furious pace, it's Lapkin setting out after Kononov and Pronkov. And the Russian fans are just delighted to see that they got 6 in the final here, and they know they're going to have a 1, 2, 3 podium. And Kononov and Pronkov are under some early pressure from Lapkin. And the arms working furiously as they come up the hill. Kononov and Pronkov, 21 seconds they were out ahead of Lekomtsev. And the chasers aren't far away. And in particular, it's Sergei Lapkin, the best of the sprinters on recent results. Then it's Lekomtsev, then it's Mikhailov, and Menegalov is a little off the pace in this one, but he can come home quickly. And they've got a minute 50 into the race. And still Kononov and Pronkov holding him off. Lekomtsev, Lapkin, Mikhailov and then Menegalov. It's just how long they can hold off Lapkin, it would seem. That's the question for Pronkov and Kononov. And here comes Lapkin and Lekomtsev and Mikhailov and Menegalov. Strung out with a fair distance between them, and I don't think Menegalov can do it from where he is. Still it's Kononov and Pronkov. Trying to save a bit of energy now, taking the big breaths for the last effort. To Lapkin. Well, Lapkin's just dropped back a bit, and he might have, in that early effort, used up too much energy, I think, as Menegalov goes past him, and Lapkin is suddenly out of it. He's right off the pace. So Kononov, Pronkov, as Kononov is being caught. So Kononov not able to hold him off any longer. And it looks like a race in 4 as they come around just this big right-hander. In 5, it's Mikhailov, who's coming around Kononov. Kononov drifting back through the field now as Mikhailov works his way to the front. Then it's Lekomtsov in 3. But it's Kirill Mikhailov who's powering down the straight. Menegalov has come from a long way back and is right in his trail, steps out beside him, trying to push his way past him to the line, but can't. And Mikhailov gets there. Then Menegalov, then Lekomtsev, Kononov. And something happened to Pronkov. He just fell off the pace too. And as for Sergei Lapkin, who looked like he was in hot pursuit of the 2 early leaders, he's just hit the wall and finished a distant 6th. Well, that race had about 4 stories in it. Kononov and Pronkov started so well that The two men off 0 looked like they might have had the 1-2 finish between them. Then Lapkin set out after them, and he hauled Lekontsev and Menegilov and Mikhailov with him. But then Lapkin just stopped. So it's Kirill Mikhailov from Rushan Menegilov. He looked out of it early on too, so that it was a mysterious race, this one, as skiers put themselves in and out of contention, and there was no predicting what was going to happen. But we've got the result now. Kirill Mikhailov, Rushan Menegilov and Vladislav Lekontsev are your podium finishers, 1, 2, 3. Then Kononov and Pronkov and Lapkin, who must have spent too much effort in the first 500 metres as he set out after Kononov and Pronkov. What he did do, I suppose, was drag the others with him and allow Mikhailov to make that late surge and take the championship of the Olympics, Paralympics in this men's 1K sprint. Paralympic champion, Kirill Mikhailov. Goodness, we had some lead changes in this one. No change of nation at the front. It was all Russian Federation, as I mentioned, but Lapkin led the chase and then ran out of stamina. Kononov and Pronkov, once they were caught, had no more to give and finished out of the medals. And Mikhailov, who had the best timing on his run, to the line ahead of Menegilov and Lekontsev. Next event is the women's sprint standing final. Yulia Batenkova, Natalia Bratchuk, Alexandra Kononova, Anna Malanina, Maya Yarvala, Alina Kaufman. Ukraine, Russia and Finland, the nations represented in this next one. Yarvala in 5. She'll be going at 3 seconds. Batenkova will lead them out. And then Bratchuk, Kononova, Malanina, Yarvala and Kaufman all going at 3 seconds. So Batenkova has got a narrow window of 3 seconds to try and put some distance between herself and the other 5. Kaufman, double gold medalist in biathlon already. Anna Malanina. Not sure that she's got the sprint legs to go with Batenkova and Bratchuk. Find out soon enough. Batenkova is ready, and she'll be first to go. Batenkova is on her way. We've got to start in the women's 1K sprint final, and then the others go 3 seconds later. So Batenkova leads out from Bratchuk, Kononova, Malanina, Yarvala and Kaufman. So Batenkova put in a very good semi-final, but she's quickly been caught by Alexandra Kononova in 1. Malanina not far off it, and 6th there, Alina Kaufman perhaps just measuring the race out a little more judiciously than those in front of her. We'll know soon enough whether she's got the right tactics. Tactics, skill, stamina, and it may be sometimes just a little bit of luck. Bitenkova continues to lead them. And Kaufman at the rear of the field. Suddenly seem to have lost a couple. Not quite sure what's happened here. We had 6 and now we've got 4. A bit of a... wait for confirmation of what's happened here. Anyway, up the hill they come, and Bitenkova, it still is. There they are, the 2 at the back. They might have had a fall, those 2, and one of them was Bratchuk. So Bitenkova leads them up the hill, and then it's Malanina, Järvelä, and Kaufman, and I can only think that Bratchuk got involved in a fall somehow. And so Bitenkova, she's been passed now by Malanina, who's a good climber, but not quite so impressive along the flat. Kaufman has just shrewdly moved herself into 3rd position, a very calm competitor, very experienced one. Järvelä in 4th position. And Natalia Bratchuk and Kononova are well back in the field. And against expectations, really wasn't expecting to see Anna Malanina leading them through, but she's got about a 10-metre lead now and more. It's a piece of elastic, this lead, when they hit the downhill sections, but it's Malanina, the Russian Federation, who's headed out clear of Bitenkova and then Kaufman. Anna Malanina. Great final she's having here. Then it's Kaufman who's moved into 2nd spot ahead of Bitenkova. And then Järvelä. And only these 4 can surely finish on the podium. Bratchuk and Kononova, a long way back. And more about what's happened to them a little later perhaps. They just can't imagine that they did anything other than get tangled up with each other and have a fall, or independently fell. But here come our front 4. It's Kaufman in pursuit of Malanina. Bitenkova still trying to hold on to a medal position, and it's Malanina who's really found something she didn't seem to show us in the semi-final, but Kaufman's moved into a clear 2nd place ahead of Bitenkova. And Malanina, Anna Malanina is coming around with the right-hand turn into the home straight to negotiate. Kaufman just ahead of Bitenkova, and then it's Maija Järvelä of Finland. She's a fair way back, so I think we've got our 1st, 2nd and 3rd sorted, and I think we've got 1st for sure in Anna Malanina. She's just easing away down towards the line. This is a real surprise. There's no sign of Bratchuk and Kononova. It's just Malanina. Bitenkova coming again at Kaufman, trying to take 2nd spot away from her. Kaufman swinging the arms, trying to get to the line, but Bitenkova's finishing all over her. It's Malanina's race, and Bitenkova is stealing 2nd from Kaufman. What a great finish from Bitenkova, then Kaufman, then Järvelä, and then a long way back to Bratchuk and Kononova, who were never in this race after the first couple of 100 metres. So, victory for the Russian Federation's Anna Malanina. It's tremendous 2nd surge from Yulia Bitenkova to deny Elena Kaufman. And this was Bitenkova. Just had something extra to give, and she moved past Kaufman to claim silver medal position, and Kaufman has to settle for 3rd. An interesting race. Lainina by 4.5 seconds in the end, just 0.3 between Betenkova and Kaufmann. A little distance back was Jarvela, and Kononova and Brachuk. Unhappy race for them. Our next final, oh what a day we've had here. It's all go at the Cross Country and Biathlon Centre at Laura. It's the men's sprint, visually impaired, and we've got 4 in it. Sebastian Moden of Sweden, Brian Makiva of Canada, Oleg Ponomarev of the Russian Federation, and Vitaly Dudkov of the Russian Federation also, with their respective guides. Vladimir Udaltkov. I think Brian Makiva starting 32 seconds behind Sebastian Moden. He'll be leading the chasers. Ponomarev and Udaltkov, both good chasers, but Makiva, with his pedigree in cross country, can he add to his staggering total of 8 Paralympic Winter Games gold medals? Sebastian Moden with a 32-second start over the others. And Moden is away. 19-year-old Swede. Let's see if he's got the sprint capability to hold off one of the best in the world in Brian Makiva. And his guide is Albert Akkurat. Makiva, Ponomarev and Udaltkov are off. Makiva just traveling a little closer to his guide. Interesting tactics between... Oh, Makiva's down! Makiva. Oh, that's a shocker for the race favourite, and Makiva's just got tangled up there. This is always the problem with the 3 guides and 3 athletes side by side going at the same time. But Makiva got to his feet quickly. And he's got a lot of meters to make up, though. If anyone can, it's Makiva. And the good news is he's not injured. He's now got to ski the race of his life to make up for this. Where did he get tangled up? Oh, they got too close to each other and came across him. Did Udaltkov, who actually made contact with Makiva and brought him down. And McKeever has attached himself to the other two now, Ponomarev and Udaltkov. How much has he taken out of himself, though, to do that? Sensational start to the men's visually impaired 1K sprint. And this has got to have helped the chances of Sebastian Moden out in front with the disruption behind him. Remember, he started 32 seconds ahead of McKeever, Ponomarev and Udaltkov. And McKeever somehow has managed to put himself into third position. He's already passed one. This would be one of his great races if he was still to pull it off from here, but I don't think he can. He's too far back. He's got Ponomarev between him and Moden. Moden, meanwhile, travelling along out in front. 19-year-old looking for a Paralympic gold medal. He was only 15 in Vancouver when he won bronze in the sprint. And McKeever, I don't think even the great Canadian can recover from what's happened to him here. He's got Oleg Ponomarev to deal with first of all, and he's coming up to him. And they're not that far behind Moden now, as you can see. McKeever gets past Ponomarev, and now he's after the Swede. Oh, don't write him off just yet. Surely he can't, but maybe he can. It's Moden and McKeever. This will be one of the great stories of the Paralympic Winter Games of 2014 if McKeever can catch Moden and take another Paralympic gold medal. He fell, and they're coming up to the right-hander into the straight. I think he might do it. This is unbelievable. Brian McKeever, who fell in the first couple of 100 metres, moves up to and passes Moden. Oh, this is fantastic stuff. Brian McKeever. How much time did he lose with that fall? It doesn't matter now, as McKeever and his guide Graham Nishikawa come down in front of the crowd here. And McKeever works his way to the front, passes Moden. The Swede is going to finish second or third. It's a good finish for the minor medals, but it's McKeever. One of the great performances at these Paralympic Winter Games, and Moden gets second. And Ponomarev third. And then it will be Udaltkov. I'm just staggered with the composure and the resilience of McKeever, who comes over and gives young Moden a big hug. That is some kind of performance. And Ponomarev congratulates him. Look, I'm sure there was nothing other than an accident of racing that brought McKeever down on the skis of Udaltkov. Too many skiers in too close a vicinity. But it was McKeever. If there was anyone who could recover from that, it was this man. Yet another Paralympic Winter Games gold medal. Sebastian Moden of Sweden will get the silver, and Oleg Ponomarev of the Russian Federation the bronze.
Okay, just as we came out, I was so glad that you were 3B2. I knew you were gonna cut them off in the hill.
And the conversation going on between Moden and McKeever. Has he ever had a win like that? A short race, 1 kilometre, he fell, got up and won. Oh, I'm speechless. Doesn't happen to me too often, but that's one I'll remember. I'm sure if you've been watching at home, you'd have been full of admiration for him too. McKeever. There's another look at how it happened. It was all in the first couple of 100 metres for the chasers. McKeever recovered so well. And we didn't get to see the fall again, but to show you how much it must have upset him. But he's got the experience to just put it out of his mind and just attack the rest of the race. And he caught Moden around the turn. It looked in the first 500 metres as though it was going to be a bridge too far for McKeever, but it wasn't. McKeever pulled on all his experience to stay calm and go on like it hadn't happened. One final to go on this busy day of sprint qualifying, semis and finals. Cross country, that's the women's sprint, visually impaired. Mikalina Lisova will start a warm favourite. And she's ready, and so is the guide, Alexei Ivanov. Yulia Budialeva being introduced to the crowd. Elena Remizova. Couple of gold medalists in the field. It's Lisova's been picking up the biathlon gold medals, and the cross-country win already for Remizova, but over a longer distance. And it's Lisova's race, according to those who know the sport. She'll take some beating here. All in the B2 sport class, so they all go together. Hope for a clean start. Underway, the women's 1K sprint final for visually impaired. Mikalina Lisova, Elena Remizova, Yulia Budalieva and Oksana Shishkova. And Lisova in one. Won't take too much time to work her way to the front. She does that, and four behind her is Shishkova. And Remizova, Budalieva in the early stages at the rear of this four-athlete field. 8th with the guides, and we should always include them in our thinking and our praise. Alexei Ivanov is the guide for Lisova. Natalia Yakimova for Remizova. Tatyana McFadden is the guide for Budalieva, and for Shishkova it's Lada Nestorenko. So through they go in the first 50 seconds, and they've all kept their feet, and they're pretty much in single file. As Mikalina Lisova, as is her wont, she's a good front runner. Takes it out early. And Russia looking for a 1-2-3 here if they can keep Shishkova off the podium. Mentioned more than once that there's not a lot of bulk to Mikalina Lisova. She's a lean but strong athlete, and we've had a fall there in the background. That's Remizova, and she's quickly to her feet, and that allows Budalieva to move to the third position, but got plenty of stamina has Remizova. She's already taken out the 15k cross country, and she's really attacking this hill to try and make up what she lost there. Lisova under a bit of pressure here from Shishkova. Oksana Shishkova right on her tail. And Lisova's been given the message here. She's going to have to work hard, and she has responded. And Shishkova just dropping back about another 5 metres or so behind Mikalina Lisova. And Lisova, if she were to secure the victory here, it would be her third gold of these Paralympic Winter Games in Sochi. And she's just cleared out a little. Alexei Ivanov, her guide, driving her on, saying, come with me. Let's get to this finish line first. And Mikalina Lisova has just created a bit of separation between herself and Shishkova, and Remizova and Budalieva. still the snow falls. It's been relentless. It's been coming down all day. Shishkova. And a bit of a wobble there from Remisova. Seemed to have lost a bit of Lieva for the moment. Mikdalina Lisova pushing on. She showed a potential 4 years ago in Vancouver, did Lisova. She had a win in the relay and an individual minor medal, but she's picking up a lot more here on home snow. Mikdalina Lisova. 2 gold in the biathlon so far and 1 silver medal in the 15k cross country behind Remisova. And it's Remisova in second position at the moment. And Lisova, well, she's a hot favourite for this race. And the weight of expectation, there's no burden at all on her shoulders as she comes around into the straight. And she's going to finish this in style. And Mikdalina Lisova coming down to the line. Well, it was expected. And this is a 3rd Paralympic Winter Games gold medal coming the way of Mikdalina Lisova for the Russian Federation. Arms aloft from Guide Alexei Ivanov and Lisova. They celebrate a bit early, but perfectly safely this time. And Lisova across the line in 4:11.5. And then it's Remisova, who had a fall but recovered very quickly and well to claim second position. And Shishkova will take 3rd. And then it's Budalieva. 4 races, 3 wins. That's a pretty good return for Mikdalina Lisova. And she hurries out of there. Probably wants to make a phone call or two and accept the congratulations of her support team. Sana Shishkova finishing in 3rd. Didn't ever forget how much support the guides are. It's not just on competition day. They have to go out training with their athlete as well. So a team effort, successful again for Mikdalina Lisova and Alexei Ivanov. Elena Remisova and Natalia Yakimova second for the Russian Federation. Then Ukraine's Oksana Shishkova and Guide Lada Nestorenko. And Yulia Budalieva finishing out of the medals with Tatyana McFadden. Someone's got creative there. Enough snow to build a snowman in the stands. It's the sort of day it's been. Don't let that mobile phone get too wet. Won't be working for much longer. I do believe we'll have a series of flower presentations to bring you shortly. Just the confirmation of most placings today. I don't think there's any cause for delay to the flower presentations. We've had official placings given to us on screen. So if you'd like to enjoy the flower presentations with us, they should be coming along fairly shortly.